He's not that good.
Yes, he is.
And you
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Okay, what's wrong with
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Who said Cade isn't good?
Okay. I knew you were gonna do this. I don't even know you that way, but I knew you were gonna do this. Let me tell you something. Pistons record overall this season, 12-57. Hold on.
I knew he was gonna bring a record.
What's their record without him?
I knew he was.
What's their record without him?
What is their record without him?
4-7.
So
think about that. They're like a half
respectable
respectable team without him.
3 games under
4-7.
Yeah,
3 games under 500, and
without him. And with him,
those games,
they are 9-50.
9-50 with him.
Right, that's a bigger sample size. Duh,
Right.
I don't understand your point there.
For a year 3 player who's really a year 2 because he missed a large majority of last season, and they
that's not moving at all
around him. They have no one around him.
What does he do?
He thought he could. That's crazy.
Hold on.
Yes, what does he do? What does he do well? Does he shoot well? Does he create well? Is he a great passer?
What was their record last year without him? Because he missed a great portion last year. What was the record last year without him?
They weren't this bad.
They were at the bottom.
What was the record? No, say the record last year without him.
I say the record though.
Because they finished 17 and what? 17 and
65. They were at the bottom of the East.
That record shit really don't move.
They would need a
He
Moses
played
level
12
miracle
games
to
last
get
year.
to 17 wins this year,
He
and he's been
played
healthy
12
for most of the
games
season.
last year, and they won 17.
So could we're ranking Cade Cunningham, and you feel like he hasn't been good. So which tier 2 player would you say has been outright better than him this season? Which tier 2 player at the bottom row? Let's say the bottom row. Which tier 2 player do you think has outright been better than Cade Cunningham?
Show the list. Show the list.
Yeah, I just want to see something real quick.
Outright better than him this year.
So that bottom row, so like that, the bottom row, and then the last with Quentin Grimes. So which of those players has
Jordan Clarkson
clearly
in terms of impacting winning? Yeah.
Yeah, just their overall play impacting winning.
Better basketball player. Who's better than Cade?
I'll give it to Fred and Malcolm Brogdon have been better than him this year.
Bro, this Fred gas is so crazy, dude.
Bro, I am the biggest Fred hater.
Van Fleet, bro.
Bro,
no, you're not. You're clearly not. You're clearly not.
Call his family and ask him.
So Fred. So just to be clear, Fred this year, next to a much better team, it's averaging 16.7, 8.8 assists, 1.2 steals. Cool.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Problem.
I don't care about that. You're talking volume. You're talking
Records.
volume of attempts. No. You're talking volume of attempts. I'm talking about how good are you making your teammates.
I'm just reading off their overall numbers just to give some context. That's all.
But you're missing the context.
What do you mean? Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm in the Western Conference. I cover the Western Conference. I watched the Houston Rockets. I told people going into the year, Fred and Gifted was here because me and Gifted know each other. Dom wasn't around as much in the summer. I said Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks going to the Houston Rockets at the right move. They had to spend the money anyway. You need a plus playmaker next to Alperen Sengun and Amen Thompson and Jalen Green. And he did that. He's averaging 16 and 8 this season. He's helping that team to uplift. I said the move was a good move. But I've also said Cade Cunningham is when maybe the worst situation of any young star in the NBA. Cade Cunningham this year is averaging 22 points a game with 7 assists. He's shooting 35% from 3, and he's shooting 45% from the field with nobody on his roster. Jalen Duran is on his team with him. He has a bust in Golden State that's now getting rotational minutes for them at the number 3 overall pick with this team. They had Jaden Ivey coming in and out of the lineup. They traded Bojan. They literally were playing Killian Hayes for half of the season on heavy minutes over Ivy just because they could. Monty Williams literally came into this team and tried to tank them, outright tank them in order to get a better draft pick. Cade Cunningham was coming off of I'm not done. Cade Cunningham was coming off of an injury. Last year, if you just do his per 36 relative to other players that are in year 2 or year 3, his numbers are fine. His efficiency has dropped off the face of the earth because they have one of the worst situation for any young player. If you telling me I could trade for right now a 6'8" playmaking guard that's averaging 22-7, 22, 7, 6, 7, whatever.
He's not
22 points, 7 assists on 4 rebounds with 45% from the field and 35% from 3 on the Detroit Pistons. I would do it any day of the week. Any day of the week. He's a good player that's in a terrible situation. I guarantee you he gets a good quality situation. He becomes an all-star level player like he's already projecting to be. Same Paolo last year. Remember Paolo with the Orlando Magic? Oh, look at him. He's inefficient. He's shot chucking, all this other stuff. All of a sudden, they get a healthy roster around him with Franz, with Markelle Fultz, and they got Jonathan Isaac coming back. They got Mo Wagner. They got Wendell Carter Jr. All of a sudden, oh, he's a clear all-star. He's clearly better than Scotty Barnes. He's the number 4 seed in the NBA, in the Eastern Conference right now. This is what I'm saying. Like, young players have to be put. And again, I'll end right here, and then y'all can go. Young players, especially young guards, they have to be put in plus situations to have their skill sets really, truly flourish. As a lead guard on a team when you're a rookie, a second-year player, or third-year player. That's how it works.
Look, value is value.
So, like, real quick to Penn, I just want to come to this conversation from this angle, regardless of who you think is better. What I don't appreciate is you pointing to the Pistons record and saying, well, they're 9-50 with Cade. They won 12 games as a team. So I really think that this is not the right stat to be bringing up to prove a point about these players, especially when, if you want to talk about stats, the Pistons are better on the floor factually when Cade is on the floor. I watch these games. It is literally true. They're +5. I have cleaned the glass in front of me right now. I'm sorry. I'm not going to cut you off. I'm going to let you go, but I literally have cleaned the glass in front of me. They are +5. And also eye test, I can literally see it because I literally went to the games and I saw how they had Killian Hayes on the floor with Cade Cunningham. Sometimes the best spacer for Cade wasn't even who you would think it would be. It was Isaiah Stewart to start the year. That was his best spacer in multiple lineups. And you're talking about how he's played with that. But again, the situation in Detroit has been terrible for some time. And their answer to making it, they cut Killian Hayes and they traded some of their best spacers for the team that didn't even really provide that much value. You're talking about Fred VanVleet in comparison to Cade Cunningham. And you love to bring up situation. Cade does not have players around him that best utilize his skill sets. Fred VanVleet, at the very least, has Şengün, who's been very, very good this season. He has other players around that can fit in. And more importantly, he has guys he can actually pass the ball to that can do something with the ball. Cade has not had that consistently. He's faced multiple double teams and triple teams early on. And yet he still is giving you 45% from the field and 35% from 3. Now, is he a perfect player? No, he's not. But he's not even in a situation to maximize his skill sets. And you have the nerve to bring up the Pistons record without Cade, like the team isn't overall garbage and they've only won 12 games on the season. That makes no sense to me in any type of capacity. When they've only won 12 games, they won 9 with Cade, and they are under 500 without Cade. I could understand your bullshit narrative if they were at least above 500 without Cade, but they're not even that. And beyond eye test, again, you can look it up. It's not hard to do Googles or go and clean the glass to look at what the on-off is when Cade is on or off the floor. So your argument makes no sense to me at all from that standpoint. How can you poo-poo on-off stats or eye test, but you want to bring up the Pistons record when we all know record win-loss is not enough to come to a conclusion about players? That makes zero sense to me.
So you want to talk stats, you want to talk on-off, whatever. I'll tell you something. Value of a replacement is a stat that has often been used to determine who is the actual MVP of the league. You go back through league history, you'll see Michael Jordan leading this. You'll see Kevin Garnett leading this. It's usually the stat that measures what is your value over a replacement player, which means how do you impact the team when you're actually on the court. Let me tell you what the value of a replacement rankings say about Cade Cunningham and the 2021 NBA draft, okay? The number 1 player in that draft, no surprise, Scotty Barnes, 6.5. I want to say the value of replacement is very, very much dictated by how much you play. So obviously, if you're a rotation player or a role player and a bench guy, it's not going to be super high. It's not like box plus minus or EPM, which is a rate stat. No, value replacement is a cumulative stat, which is why guys like Nikola Jokic are leading it every single year. Giannis led it some years. It is an important stat. Don't be shaking your head like that. Like, don't be clapping your hands and whatever, man. Come on. So Scotty Barnes is 6.5, right? That's cumulative over his career, and he's played a ton of minutes, so he's gotten that through. He hasn't been the best player in his draft class, but he has been the most serviceable because he's been the healthiest and most consistent. So he got 6.5. Next up is Alperen Şengün with a 5.8. Then you go to Evan Mobley, 5.4, but Evan Mobley probably would be a little bit higher had he played a little bit more minutes, right? Then you got Trey Murphy III. No surprise. Anyone who watched Trey Murphy III knows that he is underrated as hell, and he is a very good player for the New Orleans Pelicans. Then you go to Franz Wagner. Then you got Josh Giddey. Then you got Herb Jones. Then you got Jalen Johnson. Then you got Santi Aldama. What? Where the hell is Cade Cunningham on this list? Then you got my man Quentin Grimes been catching strays for no fucking reason whatsoever from me. Hold on. And Quentin Grimes has played fewer minutes than Cade Cunningham. And Cade Cunningham coming into this season was a negative value replacement guy. He was literally at the bottom of his draft class. He has only climbed to positive 1.2 this year. So you're talking about a guy who is a negative defender. You're talking about a guy who is not 6'8". That is a lie. If you ever watch him in person, he is not 6'8". I've seen this guy in person and summer league. He's not 6'8". He's 6'6".
He's 6'6". Huge guard, by the way.
It is huge for a guard if he was a point guard, which he's not. If you watch him play, he is not a point guard. They have over-leveraged the hell out of this because they branded him as this Luka Doncic type player, and he's not. In his most ideal role, he would be a 6-man or a 4th starter, secondary creator. He is not a 3-star player. The fact that you think he's a 3-star player is because you don't understand the fact that when you over-leverage a guy and he takes a ton of shots, he's going to put up big numbers. But those big numbers are not leading to wins. They've never led to wins, ever. Now, he has had some very impressive stretches. I'll hand you that. He's had some really impressive games, some impressive stretches.
Devin Booker takes were just a few years ago before Chris Paul got there, but keep it moving.
Devin Booker has always been a positive player. He's always been a positive player. Cade Cunningham has almost never been a positive player. Even if you go back to his college stats, people are like, how come the man turns the ball over so much? And people are like, oh, because he's playing with trash teammates. And now he's in Pistons. Oh, how come he turns the ball over so much and he can't make shots? Oh, he's got no spacing. You know, there's this thing about, you know, in life where they say, like, I had a bad roommate. You know that old parable about I had a bad roommate. Yeah. He's like, oh, I had a bad roommate. I was like, oh yeah, you got rid of him. Okay, I had another bad roommate. It's like, okay, got rid of him and I got another bad. It's like at some point you're the bad roommate. You are the problem.
Right. And if you said VORP is a cumulative stat, which it is, and we understand Cade has missed a bunch of time due to injury, why are we then using his VORP as an indicator of how good he is when the reason his VORP is lower is because he hasn't played because he's been hurt?
But that's not the reason, because Quentin Grimes is above him and he's played fewer minutes than him, and Santi Aldama is above him and he's played fewer minutes than him.
This season has just climbed to 1.2, right? Which means for
he's
career,
playing better too.
When you was using the draft class, you said 6.5 square bonds, blah blah blah. You said Cade has just got positive this year, and guess what? This is the year where he's actually been healthy and played. Is there a correlation between him playing and his VORP being higher?
Even at healthy, he has not been anywhere close to the impact of a guy like Franz Wagner or Scotty Barnes or Evan Mobley, or this year, even a guy like Jalen Suggs. So what are we talking about here? Or last year, Josh Giddey.
It's a great thing that Franz and Evan Mobley on the list.
He's not. He's over-leveraged the first option. He's not this jumbo creator that you all build him up to be. He's not that great at passing the basketball. I mean, I'm sorry. Protecting the basketball is a part of it.
Bring up the Magic? Multiple players on your Orlando Magic? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, he brought up Franz and Jalen.
He sure did.
So that seems like a coincidence then.
What's a coincidence?
I'm not
Jalen Suggs morphing into this defensive dynamo guard is not a coincidence.
He's always been a good. He's always been a better guard defender. This rookie year, that was the one thing you relied on is his guard defense. He didn't morph into.
Jalen Suggs has morphed into one of the premier stoppers at the guard position in the NBA. He didn't come into the league as the premier stopper in the league.
He's now one of the best, but
he came in as a positive defender. He came in as a positive defender, but he has turned into a half decent offensive player with elite defensive impact, which to me is a very big contributor on a winning team. You got to do something really well. I'm sorry, for Cade Cunningham, shot creation is his biggest skill.
Jalen Suggs, they play on the same team, and they're not the best player on their team. So they're second and third options at best, next to Paolo, with a much better overall situation and a much better roster.
We could have a very, very, very long debate about Paolo versus Franz, to be honest.
Real quick, I had one question. Just one quick hitter. Based off all the players you named, is there any player on a team in this VORP conversation that's on a team as worse than Cade's or not a playoff team? That's one. And two, all I asked was, how is not even that. I just need to know what ways in terms of just on court, what they've done this year. How is Malcolm Brogdon a better basketball player, just on court, than Cade Cunningham.
He controls the flow of the game better. He is a better shooter. He is a better shot creator. He is a smarter team defender. He's a better defender, even with at his age, he's a much better defender. I think the better question is, what does Cade do better than Malcolm Brogdon? They're literally like the same size, 6'5", 6'6". They're both playing kind of the same position. They both play with trash teammates. But I'll tell you right now, you stack one guy's numbers next to the other, the only thing that's going to stick out with Cade is he does more. He does it worse, but he does it more. Look, I understand being over leveraged. I get it. If you were to take,
Cade definitely does do more. I ain't gonna lie, Cade does do more.
Yeah, but that's my point. It's like you can't just be giving credit to a guy for taking shots. It's the Jerry Stackhouse argument.
Oh no, I'm not saying he shoots more. I'm saying he's literally.
Yeah, you're looking at okay, but that's my point. That's my point, bro. If you did that stat comparison between Jerry Stackhouse and like Scottie Pippen, Jerry Stackhouse would come out on top, wouldn't he?
No, he wouldn't. He would not.
In 97, if you compare
97?
points, 97, 98. If you compare points per game, Jerry Stackhouse versus I don't know, Scottie Pippen, you're going to see points per game come out in Jerry Stackhouse's favor. Why? Because he takes a lot of shots.
No, but this also measures your overall efficiency and then some of the advanced stats that you're bringing up. I think this conversation in large part, I don't know where Scottie Pippen, Jerry Stackhouse came from, because nobody would think that Scottie Pippen wasn't a better at his apex than Jerry Stackhouse was. But also he was older at that point too in the time of his career. But we just move on. We just keep moving. I think the issue that you're putting yourself in with the VORP conversation, which I mean, thank goodness. I'm swiping. Everybody knows I'm the advanced analytics guy. I haven't brought up
he's normally the advanced guy. Yeah.
I didn't even bring it up because the context for me is you're bringing up all players that are fighting for playoff situations with much better rosters, much better structure, much better coaching, as opposed to Cade Cunningham. If Cade Cunningham played for the Rockets right now, I think the conversation around him will be significantly different. If you play with the Cleveland Cavaliers, it will be much different. If you play with the Magic, it will be much different. The difference is if Paolo Banchero was on the same court right now, we would be saying that he's not living up to his expectations, the number one overall draft pick, because the team around him is stupendously bad. And you, sir, good pen, good video maker, good content creator, good panelist, good conversationalist, will be calling him a shot chucker. It's exactly what you would be doing. Because
I already call him a shot chucker.
Join, wait,